So when you got out, and how do you transition into Fieldcraft survival? Like, how much time was it, like, from being in the CIA? When did you decide to start doing this?
So I was downrange with the government in Pakistan, and my riding partner was a Navy SEAL, and he was the brother of Owens, Ryan Owens, who was killed in a hostage rescue with SEAL Team 6. And we were kind of looking at our lives and assessing everything. And I was a babysitter for case officers. Like, it's like 13 Hours in Benghazi does depict the job well. And there are some accuracies there, but that obvious catastrophe is unique. That the actual job every day is mundane. It's boring, but it's necessary. I was just fucking done, man. I was like, dude, I'm tired of babysitting fucking people. I was a reserve sergeant major here in B Caves. Big shout out to 19th Special Forces Group and Special Operations Detachment Africa. I was actually Tim Kennedy's boss, his J3 sergeant major. And so I was going down range with the agency, flying back, turning around, putting on a different uniform, and deploying overseas to Africa, then coming back, putting on a different uniform, and then going back overseas. I had no life. So I said, I need to start something for myself, and survival was that thing, but not like naked and afraid survival, not like bushcraft shit. When I think about survival, I think of modern survival. Like, what do you do to be better prepared to deal with shit that's statistically probable, the vehicle accident, all that shit. So I started the concept in Pakistan, got back from that trip, and resigned everything. So I'm fucking done. Hung it up. And then I remember the first day of going, holy fuck, this is me. Like, whatever I do right here, right now, it's all up to me. I had $25,000 of big baller contracting money to go to work, and that's where I kicked it off.
So you just started from scratch, like, let's make this work because we have to.
That's it. I had no options at that point because I had no fucking life. I mean, my life up until that point was serving in a military or government contracting capacity and chasing the fucking rainbow. That's what I was doing. And
you just realized you couldn't do that very much longer.
I realized, like, looking at teammates that were 50 plus years old who were making $50,000 a trip, going back home, blowing it on dumb shit, buying the next Harley, the next pickup truck, getting broke, and then coming back doing it again for decades. That's not the overall experience for most, but seeing that, I was like, I don't want that. I want a life. I wanted a family as well.
And so how difficult was it to sort of craft this Fieldcraft survival program and then to get it out there, to get it to the point where now it's like it's a big thing on social media and you've got a huge following and a lot of videos with a lot of views and it's very popular. But, like, what was that like to try to get that launch? Because you're essentially starting from zero.
Dude, it's the hardest fucking thing. And like, it is, there's not a survival industry, right? If you think survival, most people think naked and afraid, bushcraft,
right,
rubbing sticks and shit together in the woods. So the idea of modern survival didn't exist. So we knew we were pioneering kind of a new thing. And every business advice that I got was, don't do that because it's too much. It's too much shit. Also, when you look at preparedness as a whole, it's got a bad stereotype, the tinfoil hat shit, right? So I had a lot of stigmas to break, stereotypes to break through, and then I had to create a protocol. One of the first things that I did was I read a book called Survival Psychology by John Leach, which talked about the reason people live and the reason people die. And I was super interested. Limited information out there on survival psychology, by the way. John Leach described the reason people live and people die, and the sum up was a formula he called 10-80-10. Have you ever heard 10-80-10?
No.
So 10-80-10 is the demographic of people broken down by percentage in population of all the case studies he did of catastrophes, ships sinking, massive fires, all kinds of shit. And he determined that 10% of the population of most disasters survive. And the reason they survive is because they make rapid decisions, they adapt in real time, and they come from lines of work where that's necessary. The military, law enforcement, teachers, people who are cognitive under stress in the moment and make the right decision. 80% of the population is broken down about 50-50. They're guys who have good intent, they make the decision, but on a second floor fire, they'd run to the third floor, they jump out and they fall on their fucking head, right? They had a plan, but it just didn't work out for them. And then the bottom 10% is the bottom of the barrel, where 10% of every catastrophe, people are just going to fucking die. They're just going to do something. They're going to jump off the boat when the boat's sinking, not realizing or forgetting they can't swim. And they hand out life preservers to everybody else but themselves. They jump in the water and they fucking drown. So when I assessed this, I started looking at psychology, statistical probability, and I realized I needed to create something in the preparedness world that was realistic. Because a lot of guys, they talk about things in, the apocalypse, the worst case scenario. What I wanted to do is kind of sum it up to a question I had, and this was my business kind of hypothesis. Why do special operators go out and do the most dangerous missions in the world and survive?